Alrighty, morning everyone, and welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on another beautiful day. I hope you all had a happy new year, or started into the new year, or whatever. You know what I mean, that stuff. And I'm actually back for the third time now. Isn't that great? Yeah, for some reason, I just can't get behind the usual schedule. I'll do my best over the next couple of days. As always, I'll do my best. But with the amount that I have to work at the moment, it's just very tough. So yeah, there's that. But I've got some very good news for you today, and also some very bad news, which is the main topic of this video, but we'll get to that a little later. The very good news is, that I don't live in the US, unfortunately. And over here, US minted coins, old constitutional silver and gold stuff, is very expensive. But I got my hands on some. Isn't that epic? So we're gonna be bringing that on the channel very soon. I'm very excited for that. I haven't had any US constitutional silver ever, so I'm very happy about that. I'm looking forward to collecting that, and that's actually something that I really want to collect. So that's very nice. Yeah. So most of you probably already know that stuff, so probably won't be very interesting to you, but it is extraordinarily interesting for me because over here, you're paying in excess of like 300 to 400% over spot for a 64 Kennedy half dollar, which is actually it fits in very nicely with all the other lunatic stuff that is going on in Europe and stuff. So fair enough, I guess it fits right in. But that's not the point of today's video. That's just the very good news that I wanted to tell you, and I'm very happy about. So I hope you are too. Right. The bad news is that recently a lot of rumors and news came to my ears that there's a lot of scamming going on with local bullion dealers and coin shops and stuff like that. And that's what I want to talk with you about today, because I actually think it's a really important topic that deserves a video in and of itself, because it's a very slow and steady scam that can really cost you a lot of money. It's not one of these scammy things that appear on YouTube all of a sudden, which can cost you a lot of money at once, but these are more like a scam that costs you a lot of money over time, and we don't want that, no. And there are plenty of good bullion dealers and coin shops on YouTube that you can, go to and buy your bullion from. But most of your local coin shops and bullion dealers aren't on YouTube. That's just kind of what it is, right? Because not every single coin shop and bullion dealer has a YouTube page or is part of a YouTube page. So most of them go unnoticed on the internet. They also aren't listed on any comparison tools and whatever you can use on the internet to get the best price for your stuff and whatever. But they are still in your local city, maybe, yeah. They are there, and people use them a lot because they are local, right? They don't have to go very far. They can do all of their precious metals business there. That has a very big problem attached to it. And we're going to talk about that today. But first of all, we're going to talk about the stuff that I brought for you today. Right, first one is a Royal Australian Mint coin with the Australian box jellyfish, which is from the Australia's Most Dangerous series. Really beautiful coin. I really love these. And I'm also collecting them. I wish I had the gold version, but oh well. So what? For now, as I said, I'm focusing on US constitutional gold and silver because that's really something that I really want. Anyways, moving on, I've got a 500 plus gram copper bars. These are bars that I make myself, and I also sell them myself. Unfortunately, you can't buy them if you're an international buyer, but they are very cheap for people in my region. I think I charge like $10 for that, so not really a lot. Next thing is a very, very milk-spotted Perth Mint coin bar thingy. This is the Australian Dragon Rectangular coin bars series. And I've got every single one of them ever since they came out in like 2017, 2016. I don't really know anymore. But I've got them, right? I've got them all. And this one, unfortunately, is going to just turn into a massive milk spot. So I'm trying to get some patina on it so it at least looks nice. And the last thing I've got here is a 100 gram Agosi poured gold bar. I love poured bars, and especially gold, so there we go. Favorite bar. Right, so that's that. Now, the main problem with local coin shops and coin dealers. let's just start with something positive, because I just really don't feel like starting it with something negative. The positive thing, of course, with these dealers is that you can really develop a good relationship with your local coin dealer that can be very beneficial for both sides, right? It's very nice to go into a store and to actually know the people that work there and to be somewhat like friends with them, quote unquote. Of course, it's still a business relationship, so you shouldn't really give a lot about that. But that's nice, right? These people can maybe set aside coins for you that they know that you want and that are maybe hard to get or whatever, or that are just that came in as like, buybacks from whatever private people. And that's all very good, right? That's very, very nice and very beneficial for both parties potentially. So what's the problem now? The problem is, which is something that a lot of people have recently told me, is that some bullion dealers tend to not necessarily stick with the industry standard as far as buyback and also sales go, because they've got their local client base that pretty much only buys from them and doesn't really question the prices a lot. And if someone that's maybe a little older than, the median age or whatever, comes there and doesn't really have anything to do with the internet and doesn't want anything to do with the internet, which is fine. Me neither, and I'm not very old yet. So that's totally fine, right? But this person's probably going to come there, see the prices, and be like, yeah, all right, I guess that's the silver price at the moment. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. And that is the problem if people don't check the prices, right? Some of these, not all of them, but some of these dealers kind of gamble on the fact that you don't check your prices before you go there. Before you go there to sell, before you go there to buy, and then they charge you something like $35 or 35 euros for whatever. It's pretty much the same thing at this point. $35 for an ounce of silver, just a bullion ounce of silver, right? Or just just an ounce of silver, ounce of fine silver, right? Nothing, no particular collector's value or anything, just plain and simple that. But they also only give you like $24, $23 if you sell it back to them. Which, if you couldn't figure that out yourself, is a massive spread in comparison to what you're getting from online dealers or dealers that also have an online page. So that's an issue, because, that I've got a few other channels in different languages, and people have been telling me they're very delusional people, of course, because unfortunately, people in Europe are delusional, just in general. Delusional people that tell me, you can't sell your silver for more than X, and you can't buy it for less than Y. And I'm telling them, that's bullcrap. Whoever told you that is a liar. And they're like, no, you're a liar. And I'm like, look it up online. And they're like, no, I won't. I believe my bullion dealer. And I'm like, you are absolutely stupid, my dear. And unfortunately, that's a conversation that I'm having way more than I would like to. Matter of fact, I wouldn't like to have it at all, but I've got a very high tolerance when it comes to internet bullshit. And even for me, it's getting to a point where I'm like, that's enough. I'm gonna say something about that because that's ridiculous. As far as most of you know, right? There is the option to check your prices before you buy something. Please go ahead and use that opportunity. Whether or not you like the internet, it doesn't matter. I'm not the biggest fan of it either, right? But I'm still not stupid enough to not use it before I go to my local dealer and buy something. Most of the local bullion dealers and coin shops have your best interest, right? There's no real saying that they don't, because most do. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, picture this. I'm going to sell my bullion cards, like just right here, right? A tube of eagles, right? 20 eagles, I want to sell them. I go to my local coin dealer, and I didn't check the price. I don't know what it's worth, right? I bought it like 10 years ago for like, whatever, $10 a piece. And I want to sell it now. And now, in general, the buyback for a 1 ounce eagle is like, what, $30? Something around that. And now I get to that dealer, and he tells me, yeah, $23. And I'm like, well, I guess that's all right, right? I bought them for like $10, so I sell it to him. And then, a few months later, when my financial position maybe stabilized again, I want to buy them back. And I go back there, and I'm like, yeah, I would like to buy my 20 eagles back. Or it's just like 20 eagles, but it doesn't have to be mine, whatever, right? And then he tells me, yeah, well, that would be like $36 an ounce. And I'm like, geez, that's a lot more than I got for them. So I take them, I'm not very happy with it, and I go home. And with most people, that's enough. With most people, that's enough for them to never buy that stuff again. Just one slightly unpleasant experience, one slightly fishy interaction where you're like, come on, it's been like 2 weeks or whatever. Like, it can't be that big of a difference. And whether or not they actually look it up after that and determine that they were scammed, it is very likely that at least 90% of the people, of the population in general, are just not gonna buy it ever again. And you drove someone out of buying silver by doing that. You lost a customer, you drove someone out of buying silver, you're never gonna make a dime off of that person again. Now, you might have made like, whatever, 100 or 150 bucks on that tube of eagles that you bought from that person. But that will be the last 100 to 125 bucks or 150 bucks that you're ever gonna make from that person. So if you actually want to keep a customer, make your 15, 20 bucks on a tube, maybe even 30, whatever, who cares, right? But don't scam someone just because you feel like you're entitled to do so because you had to wait a long time for the coins that you ordered in the past. Like, come on. You gotta be joking. That is the worst possible business decision you could possibly make. Because it doesn't matter. Maybe that person, maybe very unlikely, but maybe that person comes back another time. Or even a third time. At some point, they're gonna realize that you scammed you and they're never gonna come back. And preferably, when you have a coin shop or a bullion dealership, or you are a bullion dealer, Jesus Christ, you want to have your customers for years, maybe decades to come. That's the value of a customer. Of course, your profit margins aren't great when you're selling bullion stuff because it's an investment for most people. I don't like to view it as an investment. I just like to call it stacking in general and let it be. But for most people, it is. And you can't get your massive margins out of that. I'm sorry to tell you, even though the times are a little bit uncertain, yeah, sure, but you gotta deal with that. It just is what it is. It's no excuse to scam people. I know, if no one calls you out on that stuff, it's very easy to slip into something like that. Maybe add 5%, maybe add another 5%, another 5% after that, right? It's not that people don't notice, it's just that no one tells you. And after some time, I can guarantee you that after some time, your customer base is going to dwindle because of that. It's a stupid decision to do that. Obviously also morally wrong because you're scamming people out of what could be their life savings or their like emergency stash or whatever. So it's wrong on that perspective, of course, but it's also stupid just from a business perspective because you're losing customers that would otherwise maybe be your customers for decades. And it's very, very, very certain that a customer that you have for decades that is buying gold and silver stuff for decades from you or selling back to you is going to be worth more than 100 or 150 bucks. So I really don't understand it. But it doesn't matter. I don't have to understand it. This video is not about understanding that. This video is about telling you, the person that is watching it right now, to please check the prices before you buy something at your local coin dealership. Please do that. Never just go there and believe that they are just going to give you the best price. Because the matter of fact is, nowadays, not a lot of people are very honest anymore if you don't hold them accountable immediately for their stuff. Very difficult, right? And in general, for human beings, it is very difficult to stay honest if no one's looking at the stuff that you do, right? If no one's looking at the stuff that you do, if no one cares, matter of fact, if no one cares about how much margin you're making on that stuff, it's very hard for human beings in general to stay honest and to be like, no, that's my margin, I'm only making that. It doesn't matter that that person didn't check the price. This is my margin, I'm not scamming them out of anymore. Very, very hard thing to do for most people. And just for that reason alone, you should always check your prices if you're going to any dealer. You know, doesn't matter if it's a bullion dealer. It could also be your local tissue paper dealer or your local whatever, right? It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you're not getting scammed, because it's your money, you worked for that, presumably quite hard. So I'd reckon that you want to keep it, or at least get the most value for it, right? So that's pretty much the main objective of this video, is to tell you, please have a look at the prices before you buy something. And don't be scammed by your local coin dealer or your local bullion dealer. Doesn't matter, right? I know for a fact that most people have your best interest in mind, but it's still very hard for human beings in general to stay honest if no one's looking. So have another look. Tell them what the current price is if you're not happy with something. See if you can work something out, right? But just don't be stupid. Alrighty, so that brings us to the end of the first video in 2023. I really hope that it's going to be a less shitty year than last year was. So I wish you all the best. I wish you all a very, very, very happy new year. I hope that the stuff that you want to accomplish this year is going to work out for you. And yeah, I just hope that times get better. We'll have a look and see about that. But oh well, anyways, if you like the video, you can rate it with either like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you might want to do. Don't really care. If you want to know anything else or have any other stuff that you want to tell me, write in the comments below. I'd be very happy to answer those, as always. If you want to, you can also subscribe to the channel. That would make me very happy. And I wish you a fantastic week. And until next time.